Okay, so today we have a 2009 Lexus RX350, and the complaint is the battery's going dead occasionally. The radio and center stack, center console will stay on sometimes, and right now, currently, 3 of the 4 power windows don't work. All the power windows except for the driver's side window don't work. So we're going to start with a network scan and see if there's any fault codes related to this thing that'll help us pinpoint where the problem might be. So here we're going to start with a network scan on this thing. And see if there's any fault codes related to any. Now, people have been disconnecting the battery, so there could be all kinds of network issues. It's interesting. Solar sensor circuit problem. There's not a lot of codes. That's an interesting code. B1400, normal, please ignore it. Oh my goodness, so why even bother? Well, so the network scan is not going to be of any assistance whatsoever. This solar sensor problem I don't think has anything to do with it. That's a sensor on the dash that typically senses sun load for the HVAC system. Aside from that, no other codes, and the battery hasn't been disconnected recently because all the monitors have run past. So, well, let's focus on the door locks or the door windows that don't work right now, and see if that turns up a possible cause. So I've got the vehicle shut off and an amp clamp across the feed cable leaving the positive battery post, and it's showing about 1.25 amps. I still got this scanner module plugged in, so I'm going to reach in here and unplug that, because obviously that Bluetooth scanner module will make a difference. Yes, it did. Let's go down here and switch the range to 500 milliamps. So I've got roughly 75-80 milliamps. Let's try re-zeroing this meter. Okay, that's pretty good. Slip it back over the wire. And I've got about 300 milliamps of current flow. But we'll let that sit for a few minutes. It's going back up again. That's strange. Now, the customer did say that this problem seemed to manifest itself if it was damp outside, or raining, or wet. Current's going up over 1 amp. I mean, that's acting like some kind of module is creating a draw. That's strange. Well, it doesn't show any warm fuses with thermal camera. But now the draw has dropped down to roughly 25 to 27 milliamps, which is perfectly acceptable. So I'm letting the ammeter sit here and watch the battery discharge, see if it drops. And it's dropped down to about 30 milliamps, which is acceptable. But I was curious if that power window problem could be related, and I see that the master switch on the driver's side is networked to the other switches, because the actual problem is that the right front, right rear, and left rear windows do not work from the master switch, but they work from their own switches. So that to me suggests a network issue between the front switches this front master switch, and of course the other 3 power door lock motor actuators. So I'm going to see if we can scan the network again and make sure we have communication with those various switches, provided of course the Snap-on scanner supports that. Well, this is data in the master window switch on the driver's door, and that's a request to roll the right rear door window down. And as I said, it's networked information that's sent to the other modules. So the request is there. Interesting, if I go into this main menu master switch, they have data and actuator tests. Power window up, down. This test moves the power window up and down. I don't want to do that unless I could do it to the right rear. It shows a back door module here, but it doesn't show right front door, right rear door, left rear door. Let's check this back door module. Back door initialization. Oh yes, I remember now. Anytime the battery terminal's been disconnected, so chances are the windows aren't working because we got to go through a relearn procedure. Yes, I remember this now. So anytime the battery is disconnected, you have to go through a manual relearn procedure of the limits. So I'm going to try it with the left rear door. Roll the window down all the way to the bottom and hold the switch for about 2 seconds. Roll the window all the way up and hold the switch for about 2 seconds. Release it, close the door, and then try it from this window. And now it works. Imagine that. So that's all that's wrong with the windows. Somebody's disconnected the battery recently and they haven't gone through the relearn procedure. And again, roll the window down. Oh shoot, we got this. Roll the window all the way to the bottom, hold it for about 2 seconds, roll it all the way to the top, hold it for about 2 seconds, repeat, now theoretically they should work from the master switch again. So I'm going to try rolling down right front. Yes, it works. And express up works. And the right rear express down. And right rear express up. And left rear express down. And left rear express up. I believe you have to relearn the lift gate and the sunroof too, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So the customer had mentioned that he had a car starter in this thing, but it had been disabled. And I noticed the blue blinking LED light by the rear view mirror. That's not factory. So I look under the dash and there's a car starter. So I try it and it works. So it's not disabled. So I have removed the fuses from the car starter in this thing. Under the dash there's a 5 amp fuse and a 20 amp fuse. And that got rid of the blinking blue LED up there. And my recommendation now is it drops to about 25 milliamps after about 15-20 minutes. My recommendation now is going to be for this customer to drive this vehicle for several days and see if this mysterious problem returns. If it doesn't, then we'll assume it's the car starter that's energizing the accessories. If it does, then there's other issues. drawing about 90 milliamps right now. There's a couple of fuse holders here with no fuses in them. I don't have any idea where they go. Maybe some kind of other accessory that's installed in the vehicle, but their fuses are removed. Well, we'll see what this drops to after 20 minutes. So after about 15-20 minutes, parasitic draw drops to about 15-20 milliamps. Try zeroing this amp clamp again. That's pretty close to zero. Now that's, mind you, with the 2 fuses for the remote car starter removed. It's damn near zero now. Yep. I had to switch out amp clamps because my other one battery was getting lower. So we're going to give this back to the customer and tell them to drive a few days with the aftermarket car starter power door lock actuator stuff disabled by removing those 2 fuses under the dash on the driver's side, and we'll see what happens.